Hello there, my name is James. Welcome to my channel Gear Solid. This video was actually inspired by most video editors questions that I always receive on Quora. Most of them goes, how do I start as a video editor? What do I need to know before I start? Is video editing difficult? Which software should I use as a beginner? This and many more I'll be answering in this video. Without wasting much time, let's get the answers rolling. The first thing any video editor in the world would begin with would be choosing the right software and hardware. There could be other factors you might consider, but you can't escape this part. It's an important and crucial time in any video editor's life. To choose the right software is based on just one or two things. What do you want to achieve in your edits? How far are you willing to go with this career choice? This could mean, are you willing to take this career choice serious, or is it just a hobby? If it's just a hobby, then your journey wouldn't be that tough compared to a career-minded person. As an amateur, you'd go through a lot of trials and error, which is so normal but very stressful. When I started video editing, I failed to go through the learning process, and I didn't realize it until 6 months later. Now, within those 6 months, I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know exactly what the problem was. I just jumped into editing. I didn't know I needed to check frame rates and create same sequences with it. That's why I got to realize later on that most people brought 1080p files, which I worked on and exported out as 720 for them. Hey, that wasn't entirely my fault. I was an amateur, and also the default sequence of the software I was using was 720p at 30 frames per second. So clearly the software had its own disease and played a major role in my failure during that time. Now, most of the things that I didn't know was creating sequences. I didn't know I had to optimize the resolution for the sake of my machine not to struggle playing or even previewing at the highest quality. A lot of things were just missing, and I wasn't enjoying editing at all. So this led me to say Windows machines were slow. I bet as an amateur you have said that once in your life. Now, a major part of it is your fault and not the machines. Let me tell you something. The one thing that can kill the vibe of a video editor is not knowing the kind of power the software you are using is going to demand from your hardware. Software and hardware is a crucial part in every dreaming to be pro video editor's life. Premiere Pro can crash on you. Your Premiere Pro saved files could get missing, and your high-spec machine could get really slow. Now, if you find yourself in such situations, I bet you are not going to enjoy video editing at all. And these things are bound to happen. If you don't have money, but you feel the need to start out something in the editing field, then get a free software. Get a free software to start with. DaVinci or Lightworks. There are other free ones I'll be leaving in the description below with links included. You can download them and try them. Okay, so apart from these softwares, the others I know have trial periods which would expire. I don't think that's good enough for you. As a beginner, you need something reliable you can work with until you get the basics of what you are doing. Now, as time goes on, if you get to realize you are killing the game, then yes, that's a good sign. You can add another software or even jump and start exploring what the paid ones have to offer. You can explore a few softwares out there just to see which one works really good for you. Remember, every software you need to use has courses and lots of tutorials out there for you to overcome its steeper learning curve. If you've loved the video so far, kindly don't forget to subscribe and also leave your thoughts and issues in the comment section below. I would be glad to answer them. Now let's talk about hardware. Hardware is as crucial as the kind of software you opt in for. Now, if you have the money, then my best advice to you would be get yourself a good PC at home. Don't hesitate to throw the money on it. If it's a laptop, make sure you get a fast blazing one which doesn't have overheating and battery issues. Also, make sure you know how to update your drivers when they are old. You can check out my video on game ready and studio ready drivers. I'll leave a link in the description which you can use after this video. Also, make sure you learn how to clear cache files. It's very important. Okay, so don't miss out on getting the right hardware for your software. It's very crucial. As a beginner, if you're unable to sort out these two, you're not going to enjoy video editing. If you are unable to get the right software for your hardware, I bet you're going to be playing the blame game the rest of your life. I need a Dell machine. Oh, after 2 months. Oh, it's slow. I need a new machine. You would even go a step further and then get a 2080 Ti. Oh, after 6 months, you would complain. Oh, it's become very slow. Oh, my software every day. Only you, every day you complain. You just have to learn what software works right with your hardware, the specs needed for that. Don't buy a low spec machine and expect everything to run smoothly for you. It doesn't work that way. Yes, my number 2 is going to be data backup. If you're a beginner or even a pro, by now you should know data is very precious. Hard drives can damage at any time if not properly taken care of. You could attract virus and corrupt all the files on them. Some drive damages can be very severe, and to recover them, unless God whispers into the ears of the drive, or else it's never going to come back. Get a huge backup drive at home. Hard drives have become very cheap these days, and if you really want to be a reliable editor people can recommend to others, then losing files shouldn't be a part of you. Don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. I know what I'm talking about. The moment you're done with the shoot, make sure you copy them quick. Don't even let a day go by without you copying your footages and leaving them on the memory cards like that. Okay, so doing away with this one, let's move on to my third thing on the list. File organizing. File organizing. Now, I know most pros even fall short to this one. People just don't like to organize their files, especially most of those editors who use Pre-Raw eyes. After they are done with the shoot, they just copy everything into one folder. Organize your files. Organize your files. If you shoot 10 cameras, whether it being live program or pre-recorded project, take your time to label each folder one by one. Photos, images, audio, video, deleted files, rejected files, everything. Keep them clean. It's for your own benefit, and also this simple task speeds up your workflow. Trust me. Let me give you an example that has to do with arranging your files. Let's say you're working on a project. You are given a month deadline. Now, worst case scenario, let's say a tractor knocks you down. You are in the hospital. Doctor says it's going to take you a month for you to recover. Now, the only thing left is for you to hand over the uncompleted job to someone else. Just imagine the mess you've already done by not arranging your files. From your folder arrangement to timeline simplicity is 0%. Now, what you just did is to hand over a messed up work to someone else to continue. It's actually happened to me before, and I couldn't do the work. The money was so good, but I couldn't. I was willing to start all over, but unfortunately, one folder had 6 cameras in them. One folder, 6 cameras, mixed up. Everything was just messed up in the folder. No PDF file, no script, nothing was included. The previous editor had become sick of malaria and broken heart. He's a very strong guy to have survived such a situation. Dicey one could have killed him very easily. Malaria and broken heart. How on earth was I going to bother such a person in the hospital for files? I couldn't do that work. No, I couldn't. So I had to call them to come for their work. That didn't feel too good anyways, because they had to go with their money too. Actually made me sad for like a month. Very sad for like a month. Couldn't control myself because I already made plans for that money. Don't be like that. Be decent with all your files, and always be ready to have more drives piling up if you don't have the ready money for a docking station or whatever they call it. It's something you can't escape. The more you make money, the more drives you pile up. Okay, so we've spoken about software, hardware, files, folders, and backup. Now, after all these, then you can think of editing, which leads me to my number 4, which is previewing each clip. Previewing each clip. Now you are in the software, whatever software that you are using, it doesn't matter. Previewing each clip should be part of you. Look, this might sound unprofessional to you if you are a beginner, but hey, if you really want to work fast and not miss important shots, then let previewing files be a part of you. I know as a beginner, the urge for you to just jump and scrabble through your files whilst you lay them on your timeline is very high. Now keep this in mind. If you are going to shoot and edit your own clips, then you have already edited the video in your head. You have already imagined how you are going to edit it. And for that matter, you know the best shots because you shot them. Now know the difference. If you aren't the one shooting, or you aren't even going to be there whilst the shoot is going on, then please preview each clip. These two are separate things. I remember when I was a rookie, my style of editing was very funny. I never preview clips. I never did. I just dropped the first ones that I came across that already looked cool, and that's how I did my arrangements. If the first one was okay, I didn't bother to check the subsequent ones. That is so wrong. Most of the best shots are mostly in the middle to the end of the footage, depending on how your camera labels them. You might feel it's taking too much of your time. No, it's not. Previewing each clip doesn't take any time. It's very important, and you have to make it a habit. You have to make it a habit as a video editor. Great. Now let's move on to my number 5, which will be telling your story. Telling your story. Number 5, telling your story. Storytelling is very important. If you really want to be a very good video editor, then you should learn how to tell stories. No story is perfect, but for you to keep the viewers glued to whatever that is on the screen, that's something you need to keep in mind whilst editing. Every video editor has the power to change the story of a scene or an entire video. I can tell you most of the shots you take on set will look crappy when you begin to tell your story. Now, that is when the genius in you has to emerge and make the necessary changes. If you can't tell a story, then you are going to end up only cutting and joining all your clips. And that's not a mark of a good video editor. To become a good video editor, you need to have absolute control over your timeline. If it's not a good shot, just take it out. Don't rest on it. It's only going to delay your work. Have the whole story already told in your mind and cut according to it. Visualize it and cut according to it. Don't let any shot deceive you. Don't let any scene that actually doesn't make sense but looks beautiful deceive you. Just cut it out. My number 7 will be don't over edit. You might think you are killing it by adding more effects and just cutting without cause. Adding transitions has become a disease and you can't seem to overcome it as a beginner. Hey, let me tell you, the best videos you can produce are the ones you never thought or imagined would be great, which simply means you didn't overdo whatever that you always do. This implies keeping your videos simple at its best. Even if you're good at After Effects, make sure your effects aren't still cringy and amateurish. Just be simple. Too many effects and adding 20 transitions on just one video is a bad practice. Bad practice. One transition throughout or no transition at all. Also, don't forget the types of cuts you use. Jump cut, cross cut, L cut, jump cut, cutaway, match cut. Hey, all them cuts. Okay, so my number 8 is going to be audio. I'm not going to speak on how to edit your audio because it's going to be a different topic for another day. Now, what you have to keep in mind as an editor is, as you grow in the game, you get to realize audio contributes heavily to the overall quality of a video. It enhances the feel, mood, thoughts, and even the behavior of its viewers. Now, audio comes in so many forms: SFX, music, human voice, and so many of them out there. You can search them out for yourself. Now, make sure you have all the rights needed to use a particular audio. And hey, if you're doing videos just for social media purpose, then just keep your audios simple and easy. Don't use other people's songs, which will give you problems in the end. It's very stressful to redo videos and keep exporting over and over again because the video you are uploading getting flagged for copyright. Just use free songs. You can get free songs on Google if you search for them, and also certain people on YouTube even provide them free songs. You can search for them and then use the ones that you like. Some social media sites even go an extra mile of providing users with free songs they can use before upload. You can take advantage of that. My number 9 is going to be organizing your timeline. Organizing your timeline. Organizing your timeline comes in different forms. Now, if you're editing a music video, you can just create one sequence in a timeline and that's it. You are done. All you have to do from there is maybe get a specific color for each file you drop in it. So maybe you can go with yellow for audio, green for video, and the rest. That's just by the way. It's not really a big deal. Now, what I really wanted to speak on about organizing your timeline has to do with creating multiple sequences in one timeline. This arrangement is very important to movies, documentaries, series, longer videos with multiple scenes. So with projects like that, you can just create sequences, naming them after each scene, just to keep your work very decent and easy to make corrections if need to. So, for example, let's say you are editing a series. You create a timeline, and then the sequences in it, you create scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, like that. Instead of just creating one timeline and then in one sequence, you just list everything in it. With that one, if you are to do corrections in it, you are going to have a big time correcting just one footage, because you just have to scrabble through all of them and then see where the mistake will be. But if you create one sequence for each scene, just like you just saw, then it's going to be easy for you. There are a lot you can learn from managing your timeline, checking your sequence settings, frame rate, and all that. These are all minor ones. To me, I think those are just minor ones, like how to cut, how to join. These are minor ones you can just learn easily. But with the 8 or 9 I have listed for you, if you come across it and you don't know anything about it, and it can affect your workflow big time. Okay, I've spoken too much. I hope you even made it till this part. Until my next video, peace out.